The Bawku Conflict. The four radio stations have been shut down over security concerns. Let's get right into the story there. CitiNewsroom.com, we have that story. NMC should have been involved in the closure of 4 Bawku radio stations. This is coming from the Media Foundation for West Africa. Let me just quickly read that. Now, the Media Foundation for West Africa has expressed reservations about a decision by the NCA to shut down some 4 radio stations in Bawku over security concerns. Now, the NCA, in a statement on Saturday, February 24th, 2024, announced the shutdown of Bawku FM, Source FM, Zara FM, and Guma FM, following the recommendation of the Upper East Regional Security Council and the Ministry of National Security. Now, speaking to Citi News, the programs officer at the MFWA, Kweku Krobia Asante, said the NCA should have involved the National Media Commission, that's the agency responsible for regulating media content, before closing down the stations. What we would have wished is to have seen is that this whole exercise should have involved the National Media Commission, because essentially it is the Media Commission that the Constitution gives the powers to oversee the professional and ethical standards of the media. I understand that the NCA has its own provisions and laws to take actions like that, but the precedent that this sets for our press freedom and other similar engagements like this can be a little worrying. And the story goes on there. He says, yeah, let me just leave it here for now, and let me come to Mensa on this one.
Yes, thank you very much. A very good morning to our cherished viewers. Let me say that when it comes to issues of, press freedom, I'm very passionate about it because of my background and what I do. And anytime I see things that threatens, the freedom of the press, or the supposed freedom that we've been enjoying for the last 24, 25 years, I get a bit uncomfortable. Not a bit, very, very uncomfortable.
Okay.
You see, we've come from a certain regime where the media could not operate freely. I'm talking about pre-1992.
Okay.
Where, due to, multiple military interventions the country experienced, the media could not operate. The media could not have the room to develop. And then we went into 1992. Then some space was created for the media, but mainly through the state-owned media. And so it was the government-controlled state media that was responsible for propagating messages and allowed to operate. Then we went through the important struggles in the mid-90s. You remember Radio I and Co.
Yes.
And how we got, the state to expand the media landscape to allow for what we are currently enjoying, the media pluralism that we're enjoying today. And it has come, it didn't come on a silver platter. It came at a cost, at the sweat and toil of so many people who felt that no nation can develop if the media cannot operate freely. Since 2017, the press freedom credentials of this country has fallen so badly. And every time, every action taken by these governments, its agencies, continue to worsen the woes that we are in as far as press freedom and fundamental freedom of the press freedom of speech and freedom of the press is concerned. What is happening in Bawku is a very simple issue.
Is it?
It's a very simple issue. First of all, what informed the decision to close down these media houses? Was there an empirical basis that these media houses were being used as a tool to fuel the conflict in Bawku?
Okay, so let me just give you some context here. So the West Africa Center for Counterterrorism, WASI, says the National Communications Authority's decision has even come too late. The executive director of this organization, Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar, said the closures came too late, considering the harm that the station's presenters and panelists have caused in the area. And I quote, just a brief quote. This is even too late in terms of the impact with the kind of panelists that have been featured on some of these radio stations in the Bawku area. I think it's actually late, but it's better that it has come because it can prevent some bad situation from becoming worse.
Okay, so granted, that's why I was building the point there that, look, is there empirical evidence that these stations have been used to fuel the conflict? Now, if it is true that these stations have been used as an outlet to fuel the conflict, which agency is the first respondent in that matter? Is it the National Media Commission or the NCA?
Well, I think they operate on two different streams. The National Media Commission should jump on it as soon as you realize
because in terms of content,
yes,
the NCA is strictly a regulatory agency.
Yes.
Licensing, monitoring,
Yes.
licensing.
And they have every right to revoke your license.
I didn't say they don't have the right.
Okay.
But I'm saying that in terms of content, output, development of content. And so if you want to sanction somebody based on content, based on their output, the first point of call is the National Media Commission. That is according to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Wait, so if the NMC is seen by the NCA as being maybe sluggish or slow to act, and NCA wants to take action, can it not do that?
Is the NMC a private institution?
No.
Is the NMC and the NCA not a government institution? So, what stops NCA and NMC from collaborating? Because at the end of the day, the few people who have been using that medium to fuel the conflict cannot be used to punish other people who also need access to information within the area.
True.
Because access to information in terms of conflict is very, very important.
True.
In rescue, in protection, in deployment of security, and also getting in the entire conflict resolution process, people need access to information.
True.
A quick resolution of the conflict in Bawku will still need these same media houses. So I'm saying that sometimes, instead of us sitting down, and that's why I will agree with the director of WAXI, that sometimes, instead of looking at the problem and intervening early enough, we wait till the situation gets worse and then we go in with an iron fist and put in measures that defeat the principle that we are even trying to resolve. And this arbitrariness by the NCA to just get up and be shutting down media houses must stop.
Yeah, but you say it's arbitrary because maybe that's how you see it from where we sit. But maybe they've been doing their checks and investigation for a while. And apparently it's not just them. It's them in conjunction with Ministry of National Security.
And I'm saying that we live in a country where there are rules and regulations.
Yeah.
The ultimate laws of the land is the 1992 Constitution. The 1992 Constitution gives the National Media Commission the powers, the responsibility to be the first point of call when media platforms are being used in ways and manners that defeats the principle of media, that affects national security, that promotes conflict, that denigrate society or others. And so the National Media Commission should be a proactive institution. And so if people have been using these media houses, people have been using these media houses to promote or forward the conflict in Bawku, what has the NMC done within that period?
Well, that's a good question to ask. I mean, the thing is that a lot of people have also had cause to complain.
Why did they have to take the NCA?
NMC sits watching when other stations have content that is less than desirable.
You see, if you read the act establishing the NCA, the powers given to the NCA is very strict and sanctionary because they are a regulatory institution. And so once they smell something is wrong, the framework within which they have to exercise their power is either they close you down, they suspend your license, or what. Those are the powers of the NCA.
Yeah.
Okay? And so you don't wait till you don't wait. You, the NMC, you don't shelve your responsibility. You don't remain redundant. And then it gets to the point where NCA then have to intervene. And then when they intervene with an iron fist. Yeah. And I'm saying that this affects or undermines the freedom of the press that we are all fighting for. That the whole people in the Bawku enclave cannot be punished. Their access to information cannot be truncated on the basis that some few people have been using these media outlets to forward the conflict.
Well, I guess
it is easy to drag all these people off.
I guess it will give other media houses in Bawku the opportunity to get new listenership.
Do you know how many media houses are in Bawku?
No.
Don't you know that these?
But no, they are not. It's not only these four.
So how many media houses are there?
I don't know.
Bawku, a whole enclave like Bawku.
Yeah.
The 4 media houses have been shut down. You say there are more.
But it says 4 of the media houses in Bawku.
So where are the rest?
They'll be there.
You don't know,
Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's a sad reality that when radio or media in general tends or shows signs of danger, guided by early happenings, it is safe to shut the platform to avoid such situations. And I'm repeating, guided by early happenings. You remember Rwanda. You remember what happened. It was the same platform that was expected to churn out good things that turned the whole country. There were undercurrents, but the final point is what the world recorded. However, we must let fairness, justice, and evidence guide the process of press freedom and ensure that there is actually press freedom, yes, but there should also be a responsible press. You know, so when you come out, you churn out good news, and somebody is coming after you, the populace will come up to your rescue. Yeah. I mean, if it's about exposing, corruption or rot, they will come after you anyway. In recent times, we've seen some journalists who were chased for actually bringing out some facts. I mean, the people of Ghana still came to their rescue. But let's note this one. I want to go to where the various bodies and what we were expecting. The professional bodies, like we have the National Media Commission, we have DJ and other media fraternity, they must whip their members to order, guided by their own agreed code of ethics. If they do this to perfection, that means when something like this happens, they should have their own way of, correcting themselves. DJ should be able to call the journalists to order, or actually the owners of a station to order. So the journalists, as a professional, we expect that as media professionals, media practitioners must be responsible and play their role to the highest order of discipline. I mean, we've seen journalists who actually have said hard truths in this country, but nobody dares touch them because they actually say the truth, back it with facts, and they stay in their safe lanes. I'm repeating. I mean, we've had journalists, they've walked the path of churning out news that, sometimes it hits hard to both, of our 2 major political parties. But these persons have been, one way or the other, they will be heckled, but you get to see that they are performing. So we should see journalists perform with the highest professional order. You want to talk about the person's acts, what they did. If they are holding offices, attack their initiatives. But sometimes I've heard people allow, if it's either maybe the journalist going wayward or allowing the guests to go wayward, you know. So, I mean, that is very important. The owners and the management, they also have a role to play. Key role. Sometimes we cannot run away from the fact. Owners of media platforms have their own maybe political orientation or political lineage. And they might want to drive some way to, it is not wrong. If you have a socialist trying to drive the socialist agenda, that's okay. Capitalist to drive a capitalist agenda, that's okay. It is the issues that they raise on the platforms that we should be interested in. And that is where I call in the owners and the managers to be very responsible and ensure that they have clean content running on their platforms. Because you are the owner.
Yeah.
We are in this country when owners of a media house were dragged to court themselves. So they have a role to play in there. Now I go to the guests. As you have invited us here, we owe you that respect. That whatever we churn out here should be facts. And they must be clean. There must be issues that are very, very clean. You know, if I want to talk about an individual who is acting for the state, the actions, the office holding, the roles, terms of reference for his job, what he's doing that I think is right or not, the fact that he's married to 3 women has nothing to do with what we are discussing here. So let's be disciplined about what, but I mean, that doesn't mean when we get to Mr. Thompson's issue of that's another matter altogether. And then the government agency, like the NCA, the Ministry of Information, Peace Council, they must negotiate discipline with these bodies and their members. But they must also apply the laws. That's how difficult their job becomes, you know. You'll be negotiating the ways of doing it right, but it's like you're handling your child. When the child goes wrong, I mean, the Bible says when you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So just how difficult. Some are their friends, some are their mates, some are their church members, but at the end of the day, you have to crack the whip. And they also have to peg themselves. I mean, whilst applying the law, you have to use some discipline in the rules to which you are applying. You apply it on yourselves too.
Yeah.
And then finally, the citizens. This is very critical. The listeners must appreciate good and also condemn bad content. Those who are out there listening, you know, and these days in modern media, your following is very important. So if it is bad content, it should show by those who are following. I mean, the citizens should decide, look, hey, we like you. You churn out justice and a few issues that you talk about human rights, you're talking about corruption. We like you, but condemning and insulting, we are not coming with you.
Yeah.
I think if all these are done well, I mean, the media must have their freedoms, but they must come with responsibility. But it must not create a room for any other, you know, intents to come and cripple or clamp down on the media and their freedoms. Whilst we are expecting that they play their roles to the fullest, they have bodies.
Okay.
When it starts, all these government agencies, if they have any issues against them, they should go and quickly relate to their bodies, quickly jump to their owners of the stations, and have a way of disciplining and actually correcting some of these things. I don't think punishments are meant to destroy. They are meant to reform. So we should apply them well.
All right.